how important do you think is HR knowledge for the IT managers?
I think HR knowledge for the IT managers is really important because a really good HR department will have an excellent HRIS system. So the IT manager is involved in that part of it. Now people, first of all, find out about a company by the website. So that's the attraction part of it. If the website looks really good, it can actually speak to the company's culture. So you can know by looking at a website what the culture of the company is.
Sure.
So the IT manager can hopefully create the website that speaks to the culture of the company, that helps to attract people to the company.
Awesome.
So that's the very first part of HR. And then you will have an applicant system, an applicant tracking system, training, and that training will be on that system. So the integration of IT and HR has come a long ways, and that partnership between HR and IT is really, really important.
Sure.
So it's not really that HR can help IT, it's that IT and HR work together as a team. And the other thing is, I guess, that everything about a company that is in IT starts to have a certain look and feel,
right,
that reflects the culture,
right,
of the organization, and that is in part held together by HR, but also just by the vision and values of the organization. So yeah, there's a really important link there.
So it's, in today's world, it's more of a complementary nature. The HR and IT are like going hand in hand together now.
That's what I would say, yes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What benefits do you think a student from this program would get from ITMG program?
I think the real benefit is that you've taken your first year in management.
True.
So you have an idea about all kinds of management practices and principles. And at this point, you might not think so, because you know BCIT is really intense. So you may be thinking, boy, have I really learned anything? You know, can I really apply it? But once you're out, you will start to reflect back on everything that you've learned, and you'll tie it together. Your management, your IT knowledge together will make a huge difference.
All right.
And I guess the other thing is that whatever you came into the program with, whatever interest you came in, whatever experience you came in with, you've been able now to have a framework to put that into. And now on top of that, you've got all that IT information that you can use. So it's a really beneficial diploma, I think, for you to have.
Okay, that brings me to the next question. Do you think the ITMG students actually learn up-to-date material in terms of the HR courses that we come across?
You know, that's a tough question to answer, because what we give you are the real kind of nuts and bolts, the basics.
Okay.
And we don't seem to have time to give you the really fresh, bright, new concepts that are going on out there. And you know, the way for you to do that is really to take what we've given you, go on websites and look at things, look at best practices in organizations and see what they're doing. We try to incorporate that, but it's not always there. You know, I'd love to say it's really, really up to date, but I think like IT, it's really difficult to be leading edge in what's in the future. So I think what we've given you are the basics that you can build on. You know what needs to be in the system. You may not know the best practice for it, but you know what needs to be there. So yes and no.
So it's like HR is also evolving now, because the way we look at it like 10 years back and the way we look at it right now, there's sea change in terms of where we were and where we have come. So one has to actually keep pace with the changing HR practices.
Absolutely, yeah.
What would be your advice to the current and the future ITMG students?
I think that you have a really nice opportunity to marry business and IT together, and that my advice would be to take whatever it is that you're passionate about. You know, which area of business do you really love, and then build your system experience around that area. And maybe it's not just one, maybe it's 2 or 3, but take what you've got here and build on what you're really, really interested in. And for every one of you, there's going to be a job. It's not the same job.
Sure.
So you can take this and put it into any perspective that you want to, whatever it is that fits for you. So that would be my advice.
Great. Well, do you think that some kind of work experience would help the future students before they join the course?
Absolutely, absolutely. I really think that, well, when I look at the 3 of you, and you run your own business, is that correct? And you've had a lot of experience already, and I'm not so sure. What have you done?
Project coordinator.
Yeah, so you've had a lot of business experience too. So coming in with some kind of experience helps you to apply those concepts that you learn.
Sure.
If you haven't had experience, it's really difficult to take those concepts and think about how they apply in business.
Right.
So it's important. The other thing is that when you come in with that experience and you start to look at a systems approach, you can think, oh, I could have improved this with this kind of system.
Yes.
If you haven't got that experience, you have no idea of what you could do with it.
True.
So I think the other thing is that within your set, if you have a lot of people with experience, you're always learning from each other. And when I walk into your class on Monday afternoons, what I really like about you is you all come from these different perspectives and you all bring these different insights. You come from different cultures, different backgrounds. And so I learn a lot from you. I rely on you. And I want to be able to rely on the students to bring something in. If you haven't had experience, it's difficult to pull that. So, yes.
Great. So it was nice to have your time and great insight from you in different questions that we asked you. And at this note, we'll close the interview now and probably we'll show you the link there after.
Okay.
How does it go?
Okay.
And actually, I have one more question.
Yeah.
You've been teaching students from different programs, and you also have a lot of work experience. So, what do you think? What are the areas the ITMG students can improve compared with the students from other programs?
Well, that's a really good question. I think what I've seen in you, and I haven't taught ITMG for quite a few years, but what I've seen in you is a level of energy that's really inspiring. And also the teamwork that you put together in your class, the way that you treat each other with respect. I think you're actually an example to some of the other programs in that way. What I've noticed in some programs are people are much more individually focused and more driven individually. But what I've seen from you is a lot more teamwork, and maybe that's because that's what ITMG is. Maybe you need to be able to do that to build systems. So, I can't give you an idea of where to go except to say what I've seen was really, really positive.